you will have your opinion.
It's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's a fact, Mr.
But
James.
I would also
It's a
have
fact.
an opinion.
It's a fact.
On the side of the people, where we are going to the Parliament to advance.
It's Tuesday. It's 5:12 in the evening. How are things going?
Certainly, well, I'm in my constituency, and I can tell you, the Unity Labour Party government will be returned to office. I have full confidence in the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I have full confidence in the electorate, both here in North Leeward and across the country. I want to say something very important. I can smell the sense of victory in the air for the Unity Labour Party government. We have put in the work. We've been resilient as a people. We've gone through a post-recovery period from the COVID-19 pandemic, the explosive eruption of the La Sofia volcano, of course Hurricane Elsa and Beryl, and where we are now in the transformation, especially with the rural communities, building out a modern port, the international airport at Argyle, 4 major capital projects listed in terms of a public-private partnership in the construction of hotels in Cumberland Bay, in Peters Hope, in Private Mountain, as well as Palm Island. And we're expanding tourism, we're creating opportunities for growth, we're creating opportunities for employment. We've built out more TVET centers within the last 5 to 10 years than ever before in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We have more students off to university than ever before in the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines since adult suffrage. And what we continue to do is to provide training opportunities both at the technical level with TVET, as well as the broader academic expansion of the working force, the labour force. And we are driving growth here, we are stimulating the economy, and the record is there to show on paper. The fastest tourism growing economy in terms of student arrivals from the United States of America, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The second fastest growing economy within the region, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Second, of course, to Guyana. Of course, we know what has been happening in Guyana with oil and you know, on the foreign market with trade. So we are in St. Vincent and Grenadines at the point where our post-disaster recovery, we're now moving, setting the momentum for expanding in growth, expanding in trade, expanding in what we're doing in terms of creating opportunities for the ordinary working class people. There are many persons, we know the challenges we've had. I'm receiving calls from the UK, from Northern Caribbean, from the US. The cost of living is an issue across globally. And it's not just unique to St. Vincent and Grenadines. But what we've done, we have essentially slashed and zero-rated basic food items in the supermarkets. We have zero-rated basic items for the ordinary working class people. So it's not about reducing VAT. What we've done is remove entirely VAT from a number of items. In fact, when you go to a supermarket, most of the items which you're purchasing right now are zero-rated. And we've done that cognizant of the fact that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we are addressing that challenge of the cost of living crisis, which is a global issue. We're addressing it. Our inflation is coming down. And what we're doing is creating opportunities for every working class people in St. Vincent and Grenadines and setting the foundation within our tourism economy, expanding our tourism, and setting the foundation for growth and stimulating economic activity in St. Vincent and Grenadines. And that's what we're doing. So I think the ordinary working class Vincentian, everyday Vincentian, will have an appreciation of the challenges we have, will have an appreciation of where we are, and we'll certainly have an appreciation of where we're going as we go forward into the future. Post-disaster recovery, building out our infrastructure in terms of capital projects and building resilience and climate resilience into those aspects of our build-out. And of course, setting the foundation going forward where we are building a better St. Vincent and Grenadines.
But in the context of that, you're contesting a seat called North Leeward. What gives you the confidence that you would be returned to a second term in office?
My commitment and dedication to the people of North Leeward, that is something that is obvious. Anywhere you go, you will hear the persons who would say, yes, we've gone through many challenges from climatic shocks and natural hazards, but Carlos James has been there with us. Carlos James has been there supporting, defending and promoting and advancing the cause of the people of North Leeward. And they've seen the work that I've put in. And of course, we continue to deliver despite the many challenges. And going forward into the second term, there's going to be a lot of resources pumped into North Leeward. We have an administrative building centre to construct. If you go to Chateaubriand, you've seen the demolition work has commenced. That is partly funded by India with the United Nations. It's a South-South Cooperation partnership with St. Vincent and Grenadines and India and the UN. We're working closely with them to facilitate construction of that. What that does is further decentralize services to the constituency, bearing in mind revenue. You don't have to go to Kingston to pay for basic needs and government services and so on, a license or land tax and so on. Decentralizing customs and immigration in a broader way. We're talking about having a magistrate court, a comfortable office and space. We're talking about additional financial services because another financial institution has an interest in establishing a branch here in North Leeward. We're talking about expanding further our social programs and broadening our social safety net. We have decentralized even our social programs from the Ministry of National Mobilization. You don't have to go to Kingston and queue in lines and sign up for that basic stuff that the government would offer in terms of those support.
But amidst...
It's right here in North Leeward. We're expanding all of those. In every community, during COVID, during the volcano, there are persons who will tell you they have received cards from fisher folk to farmers, from business persons will tell you they have accepted the services that the government has provided. And we are doing this in a way which all can benefit. And we're happy to do that. There's currently taking place in North Leeward, as with other communities across St. Vincent and Grenadines, particularly the Southern Grenadines, the recovery from Beryl, the recovery from the volcano. We have decentralized our services, where we have housing depots across the country, in Union Island, in North Windward, in North Leeward, in Camden Park, in Annesville, where we are continuously rehabilitating houses across St. Vincent and Grenadines. Right here in North Leeward, I've given the commitment to constituents that we will continue this post-disaster recovery period. It goes not just up to the November 27th. It continues into the end of the year. It continues into the next financial year. And I want to say this. We went to the Parliament as a government, as a responsible government, seeking the consensus from the Parliament to pass a bill for a supplementary appropriation bill to facilitate additional funding to do several things. One of which was funding to complete the port, the modern port. The second of which was additional funding to complete the many repairs that we have to do in terms of house roofs across the country, including North Leeward. And the third one was in which we wanted to expand further our national road rehabilitation program. The opposition voted against every single component in that supplementary appropriation.
And what was the reason that they gave?
They said no. They said no to more houses being built and reconstructed. They said no to more financing for the port, and they also said no to more money is being allocated to build roads across St. Vincent.
But Mr. James, they said that because they were asking for accountability for the money that had already been allocated. Is that not the case?
We have demonstrated. I mean, you can look at all of the transparency reports across globally. St. Vincent is highly rated. We have demonstrated that we've been a government that is responsible, a government that continues to address the needs of people, and we do this in a way which it is a broad-based representation of people across St. Vincent and Grenadines.
Okay, if I may ask something about your constituency, right?
Permit me to finish the point.
Sure.
When the opposition goes to the Parliament and vote against a bill, a supplementary estimates, where we're moving in the Parliament resources to facilitate more houses being reconstructed and built from post-disaster, several of them. When we are moving in the Parliament resources to build out more roads across the country and to finish the port, and the opposition says no to that. Quite reasonably, Vincentians, the ordinary working class Vincentian would understand and appreciate that this is a party in opposition who doesn't have the best interests of the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines at heart. And that is why on November the 27th, Vincentians will go out resoundingly and vote to continue the progress, to continue the work that we're doing, and to continue to own their own future.
But as a Vincentian journalist who's covered politics widely, I think for context, it's only fair that I say to my viewers that the opposition voted in support for a package of $136 million. And all they were saying that if you're coming to ask for additional money, you should account for how the other money was spent. But I want to ask about some things in your constituency, right?
You will have your opinion.
It's not an opinion, it's a fact. It's a fact, Mr. James.
But I would also
it's a
have
fact.
an opinion
It's a fact.
on the side of the people where we're going to the Parliament to advance a bill to release more funding to continue the work that we're doing.
Mr. Jim,
And
it is
the
a
people
fact
of St.
that
Vincent
that
and
is
the
what...
Grenadines will make that determination.
It is a fact that the opposition voted against the bill, and it is also a fact that that is the reason that they gave for voting against it. But what I want to ask, right, what response are you getting from your constituents to, like, say, the quarry? Is that an issue that has come up in your canvassing?
You will see in the next 24 hours. Farmers are going to speak because we've done a series of documentaries on the farmers at the quarry. And I would safely say majority of the farmers who were at the quarry site are now in a better position now than they were prior to the quarry. Firstly, we allocated lands for the farmers. We relocated them. We surveyed lots in Richmond. We surveyed lots in a place called Top Hill, beyond the Richmond River. We have given them leases. They have legal documents to reflect that they are in possession of these lands, some of them lease to own, right? They were compensated for some of the produce they had on the site at Richmond. Not only did they get lands, they were financially compensated. Then, in addition to that, we provided support, additional support. The very quarry operator took his heavy equipment, went into Top Hill, and cut new roads to accommodate the farmers with ease of access going into some of these lands. Beautiful flatlands. The farmers expressed to me, look, I am in a better position now than I was prior.
And you said they're gonna come publicly and say this tomorrow.
You will hear about those
okay, so
reports.
let's...
And I want to say that while there are many projects we have to do in St. Vincent, including the building out of several hotels in my next term as Minister of Tourism, the building of a cruise terminal, a brand new cruise terminal, where we have to construct. We are going to need, from that very quarry, the base material and other materials to facilitate that. And I want to say, I am on the side of the farmers. I will continue to be on the side of the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, my constituents, and I will also be on the side of them no matter what the circumstances are. And I have not said this publicly, but I've been one of the persons at the very outset speaking to some of the farmers and saying, look, we have to work with you. I want to advance what the issues you have. Let us see how we can get the chief surveyor to come in, survey lands, provide additional support. Let us see how the government can provide compensation, advocating for them, and doing that internally while being a member of the cabinet.
But what about something...
I've always stood on the side of my people and my constituents, particularly farmers and fisherfolk. And I will tell you this, many people will not know that I am the product of farmers from a rural village called Trumuka. My grandparents were farmers. I walked from Trumuka to Rosal as a little boy, going to a farm. And the produce from my grandparents' farm sent me to school, educated me. So of course I'm on the side of farmers and I'm on the side of the people.
But let me ask you this, right? You talk about the national projects, the cruise port and all of that. When the quarry issue became, you know, when it was really hot in North Leeward, you promised that there would be a gas station in North Leeward. Has that promise been fulfilled? And
I will tell you, you can confirm with the manager of Rubis, who has expressed an interest in facilitating a gas station here in North Leeward. Of course, that is a private sector development. I've been in discussions with a few private sector persons, business-minded persons, who have expressed interest. And over the years, that has been a continuous exercise. Recently, I'm aware that there's one gentleman in Chateaubriand who has expressed an interest and who has already started conversations with his supplier. to facilitate that. But that is a private sector. And what I do, I work with the private sector. I work to drive and facilitate that level of arrangement to see how we can bring more investment and businesses to the community. But it's not the government who's going to bail out and facilitate the gas station. We are simply the facilitator. And you can confirm from the record whether or not there are persons who have had an interest and have reached out to Rubis in particular. I'll name the company, but there are several other companies who may have an interest about the investment of a gas station in North Leeward. All of these things, just like the Bank of St. Vincent and Grenadines, coming to North Leeward, decentralizing its services. The social development program, which has been decentralized to the constituency, where we have now a broader level of representation in terms of government services and so on. All of these things are not by mistake or error. They are done strategically to continue the rural transformation process, to ensure that there's growth and economic growth from a rural level, and we continue to see the transformation of all of these things. And I will tell you, we have 99 lots surveyed in fit use, where we are going to have these lots. Some of them, the government is going to build houses on them for persons who are displaced, of course. But there are roughly about 99 lots where we are going to ensure young professionals in North Leeward, police officers, nurses, teachers, doctors, business persons who are going to be able to apply for these 99 lots, whether to purchase, to build their own homes, or to facilitate through the Housing and Land Development Corporation, the construction of houses for them. That is going to happen in the next term. We are going to build in Pitibodel a cultural and artistic hub at the value of 2.6 million Eastern Caribbean dollars. In Tramuka, there's the construction of another cultural and artistic hub, pretty much valuing about the same, to facilitate soft app and web development and technology, training and transfer and so on. That is also going to be taking place. We have pretty much facilitated the operationalization of the North Leeward Technical Institute, training persons in hospitality to feed them to the hotels that are currently operational and the ones that we're going to build. We are going to ensure that we have taken care of early childhood education, opening 3 such facilities across the constituency, in Pituse, in Chateaubriand, and in Tramuka. The Belmont Depot, which has been a subject of conversation among farmers, is currently under construction in terms of rehabilitative work.
But it was promised to have been open 2 years ago.
There is currently a contractor there. The Minister of Agriculture has worked with his ministry. They are facilitating that level of development and rehabilitative work. And I'm happy that we are able to put in place all of these supporting mechanisms for driving, again, as I said, rural transformation, wealth creation, economic growth and prosperity for the people of North Leeward.
All right.
It is acceptable to say we have had some peculiar circumstances from post-natural disasters where we're dealing with our recovery from Beryl, the volcano, Elsa and so on, and the pandemic. We do appreciate that. But we have been resilient. The government has responded. The government has shown a lot of resources into the development of our tourism product. We have seen the transformation of tourism. My team at the Tourism Ministry and the industry leaders have worked together to facilitate more airlines coming, more hotels being built, and more hotels being announced to be constructed. We are seeing the next phase of our development as a country. And with the new city at Annesville, the acute referral hospital that's been built, the port development which is just completed, but the new cruise terminal where we have operationalized a company, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Foreshore Development Company, where we're going to move towards the transformation of Port Kingston, having an additional cruise terminal there to take more ships. All of these things, the next term of this government we're going to see a lot more activity, a lot more growth, a lot more employment opportunities being created. And I did give a commitment in tourism alone. We will have over 2 billion of foreign direct investment and local investment in our tourism product. I did promise over 2,000 jobs to be created in tourism. And that is something that I'm going to do. Starting right here in North Leeward with the development of the Cumberland Bay Resort and Marina. If you go to Cumberland now, you might have missed it. I'm sure you could not have missed that billboard at Cumberland. And you would not have missed my State of the Tourism Industry address where I announced the plans for that development. That single-handedly is going to transform the situation in North Leeward where the generation of employment, every single person in the constituency, we're going to provide training opportunities for them. They are going to benefit significantly from that hotel in Cumberland. And I want it to be a community approach where community tourism is vibrant. Community tourism is something that is at the front of our agenda in terms of our tourism build out. And in North Leeward, we have allocated $20 million US. I want you to listen to this carefully. My friends here who are from Grenada, $20 million US. That is going towards tourism development in the next term. It's a World Bank project. We are now in discussions with the World Bank to facilitate ensuring that we have that $20 million US spread across the next 5 years to spend on tourism sites across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And of course, North Leeward is going to be one of the prime benefactors of such an investment. So all of this that you hear we talk about, they're not just plans, they are not just ideas, and it's not just having a vision, but they are practical, realistic, and real projects that are coming for North Leeward and by extension St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And I intend to be one of the ministers leading the charge in the continued growth and transformation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.